What's going on, guys? It's Nick here, back with another video. It's Monday, so you know what time it is. Time for the mock draft Monday, and I am keeping this format moving forward until the end of the season. I really like it. Basically, I'm just going to continually do, as soon as one draft is done, hop into another draft with subscribers. So every single week, we're going to start off the mock draft Monday now, analyzing like the previous week's draft on Underdog with subscribers. So you guys can see this is like a paid league. This is what people are actually doing. And then we'll do a live draft after that on Fantasy Pros. So you can kind of get the best of both worlds. One thing I want to do in these is I'll obviously analyze my team. I'll go over like my thinking, my decisions on every pick. My team is here if you want to start taking a look. And I did last week up to like this point. So we'll go over more the end of the draft this time. And then every week moving forward, it'll be a whole new one. So it takes about a week to do these mock drafts. And so, or I guess these actual drafts for these ones. I'm going to go over like a full team moving forward, not do like half a team this week, half a team next week, just to point that out. But I'm also going to look at one of your teams. So we'll take a look at what I think is my favorite draft other than mine. There's a few that I think are good. Maybe we'll point two of them out. But yeah, we'll kind of analyze what other people did a little bit as well. Not super in depth, but just go over what I liked. So you guys saw last week, I started off with Ezekiel Elliott at 7. He was the top rated player in the rankings. I mean, basically in the first round, there's no real strategy. I just draft based off of who I have in the rankings. Strategy kind of comes later. And like we've talked about, success rate super high for running backs early on. I want to grab at least one stud running back in these first two rounds. And I thought that Zeke was a really good pick at 7. So I take him, and then Adams. I don't know, like I still think the most likely outcome is that Rodgers stays on the Packers, and getting him in the second round, even if we have a situation where Rodgers leaves, Rodgers doesn't play there this season, you're not losing your lead because you drafted Adams in the second round. He's still going to be a stud, still going to be awesome. So I thought the upside there was incredible. Basically after that, I never found value at running back. And there was just never a pick where I'm like, ooh, gotta get this running back. Running backs went really early. And I saw a bunch of stud wide receivers, and I'm like, why don't I just lock all these guys up, grab my stack with Dak? Remember I talked about I'm okay stacking Zeke with Dak because you basically just lock up every single touchdown on a high touchdown team. And then I get into the 6th round. I'm like, okay, I need a high upside running back, right? I only have one at this point, so I take Chase Edmonds. Again, he could absolutely bust, but I thought that high upside pick there was smart. I really would like Javonte Williams, and I believe I do take him in the mock draft we'll look at next week. But goes one pick before me, which is pretty unfortunate. Then we see the Curtis Samuel pick. So I talked about all the way through Higbee, I believe, and then basically considered at the 9 pick going with Stafford because you really want stacks in these underdog drafts because if you don't know, this is a best ball draft. And so the starting lineup is 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, the flex spot, and then like the tight end spot, and then you've got like a really big bench. And so if you're trying to win first place in this league, you want, the Rams to explode in the championship weekend, and that's going to give you a nice correlation with Higbee and Stafford. I ultimately went with Gus Edwards because I'd only had the 2 running backs, Zeke and Chase Edmonds, and I just thought it was more valuable to my team to secure that guy. Of course, Stafford goes right there. In the next pick, I feel like I would not have gone with Tony Pollard because I already had Zeke. I don't love drafting handcuffs. But had I not drafted Zeke, Pollard would have been a nice pick if he was on the board. He was not. I go with Jamal Williams. I think the reception upside is awesome. I still have no idea how that offense is going to look, but I really do believe they're going to use these running backs in the receiving game a lot because they have no skill at the wide receiver position. And so I think Williams and Gus are both being undervalued in drafts right now. So I think getting those two to go along with Chase, I've secured like 3 different types of running backs, right? I've secured my stud. I know Zeke's going to be good this season. I've secured a high upside pick. I mean, Chase Edmonds could be a running back 1. He could also bust though. So I want some safer options. I know Gus is going to produce. Even if he's not going to be a running back 1, that's very unlikely. He's going to produce for me. And so if Chase busts, if Jamal Williams is bad because Detroit is just awful, I at least have 1 running back that is getting me something to pair with Zeke. So that's the thinking with kind of those 2 picks. After that, I was like, okay, I mean, we're good, right? We have 4 running backs. We have 4 wide receivers, a quarterback, a tight end. Let's just take like a luxury pick here. And for me, that was definitely between Trey Lance and Elijah Moore. I'm all in on Elijah Moore this season, but I thought that value-wise, if I hit on Trey Lance and I had Dak and Trey Lance, every single week just dominating, I thought that was really good. I don't know if I've given a full Trey Lance take so far. I don't remember if I've done like a breakout quarterbacks video or something like that. But I mean, I absolutely love Trey Lance this season. He is one of, I can look, of the core plays at quarterback this season. We have four core picks at quarterback this season, and he is one of them, which you can see at the website, thefantasyfootballadvice.com. We have more targets, but as far as like core picks, like my 4 favorite quarterback picks, Trey Lance. I mean, he might not start week 1, but for us, that doesn't matter. I already have Dak. And remember, best ball, you're picking, it automatically sets your lineup for like which is the highest scoring player at these positions, but you're still going to want 2 quarterbacks, right? Because like if your guy goes down, you just like lose, and that's not very fun. So you want to draft at least 2 of them. But I thought getting, like I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't draft like Carr, Winston, Watson, Goff. I wouldn't be doing this. You don't need 5 quarterbacks. But I think grabbing Trey Lance here, he doesn't need to start week 1 or week 2 or week 3. I think he could. And as soon as he becomes the starter there, oh my goodness. I mean, the rushing upside is incredible. He's just going to be so good in fantasy. I don't know if he's going to like dominate in like actual football and be just like, an all-pro or something like that. But for fantasy, the rushing upside is immense. That offense is very creative. They're going to be good. I'm all in on him this season. I think he's a fantastic late-round pick. Even in one quarterback, like just redraft leagues, if we're not even talking about best ball, I think Trey Lance is an exceptional pick late. You just got to know that maybe it takes him until week 3 or 4 to start. And so you might... you don't need to draft 2 quarterbacks. It's just like you might need to drop like your 16th or 17th round pick, but that's totally fine, right? Those are flyers anyways. So you might just need to exit the draft knowing that you got to probably drop your last pick if he's not going to be starting. Just don't drop Lance if he's not starting week 1. After that, I take some upside picks at wide receiver. I think Paris Campbell has a lot of weekly upside, especially with his speed. I think Jacoby Myers is the wide receiver 1 in New England. And when you can get a wide receiver 1 on any offense in the mid-13th round, you have to do it. I take Terrence Marshall in the 16th, Byron Pringle in the 17th. Those are just, again, pure upside picks. I actually wanted Traquan Smith, but he gets taken. But Terrence Marshall, fantastic talent. I have no idea if he's going to work out this season. He could have a few spiked weeks, though, so that would be good. And then Pringle, you're basically just trying to say, like, could he win, the number 2 job? Obviously, Tyreek Hill locked in as the 1. But, like, behind him, it's kind of like a rotating door. We don't know who's going to win that job. Decent reports out of camp on Pringle. If I had to guess, I'd say it's Mecole Hardman. But, I mean, Mecole goes in, the 11th round? So in the 17th round, why not take a chance on someone who could see the field with Mahomes? He could still have a few spiked weeks, and that's what we are looking for. I do take Hunter Henry in the 14th round to grab that backup tight end behind Higbee. Thinking there is that he's, 1, very talented. 2, he can't really, he's fine at blocking, but he's not fantastic. He's definitely better in the receiving game. And so I think they're going to run a lot of 2 tight end sets. And if he's not blocking, that means he's going to run a lot of pass routes. Plus, Jonnu Smith has a little bit of, I believe, a hamstring injury, but he's got an injury right now. And so he's missing time, and if he's going to miss some time, I mean, both of them are new this offseason. I don't know. I think it's a good thing. And 14th round for Hunter Henry, I think, has a lot of upside there. Then Gio Bernard and Samaje Perine, just pure upside picks for running back. I guess the upside in Bernard is that we have no idea how this offense is going to split the running back targets, but we can feel pretty good in saying that, I think the most likely outcome is that Bernard is used like James White was. Every single third down he's in there, 2-minute drills in there. They could definitely have him in there in red zone packages to get him touchdowns. And he could take a few carries a week, but don't be relying on those carries. But I'm basically saying he's my, 5th running back. Will there be a week where he has 5 receptions for 60 yards and a touchdown? Absolutely. And could that make my starting lineup? Absolutely. So that's the upside there. With Perine, it's that he's pretty clearly the backup. So if Joe Mixon, goes out for the year again this season in the mid-18th round, you've just secured the running back 1 on a very, very good offense. I think that is a no-brainer pick right there. So that's the thinking behind my picks. I think this team turned out really nicely. I definitely, you know how in drafts you can kind of feel like you're ahead or you're behind in a draft, like if you're kind of playing catch up. I felt like I was ahead through the Dak pick, and then probably this mid-range, these were all picks that were like fine. So Chase, Curtis Samuel, Tyler Higbee, they were fine, but I wasn't like in love with them. You always want to leave a draft feeling really good about the first 4 or 5 picks. I would say this range, it was like fine. I don't think I got exceptional values. I don't think I made exceptional picks. I think I just like made by. I can justify all the picks. I don't think they were amazing. And then I think I did really well in the later portion of the draft, but maybe this mid-range could have been a little bit better. I don't see any picks. I mean, who are you making as a pick outside of Chase Edmonds, right? I mean, I guess I could have taken Sermon if you think he takes the starting job. I could have taken Claypool, just grab like another wide receiver, but I thought grabbing the 4th receiver there had less value than grabbing an upside running back. So I think the picks were good. Favorite team, though. Favorite team, I think, is Griffalicious. I think this is my favorite team. And it's a great strategy, honestly, in any format, but specifically best balls. But you can definitely go with this strategy in a redraft league. Yeah, come on, right? Now, the strategy is technically a little bit better with McCaffrey, Cook, and Henry because we're so much more confident in them. There's a little bit of a drop-off into Kamara because we don't know 100% that he's going to be as good as he was in the past. We think he's going to be fantastic. We're not 100% sure. So there's a little bit more risk than there is with these top 3. So after the Kamara pick basically says, okay, I've got my running back 1. I can do just like fine at the running back 2 spot and still do really well in this league. It's called like the anchor running back strategy or something like that. I'll probably make a video on it. You take your stud and then you say, let's just load out at every other position and then try and find a running back 2 later, or at least find a few running backs that can all contribute as a running back 2. So he doesn't need Mostert or David Johnson or Hines or Malcolm Brown or McKinnon to be his running back 2. He just needs all of those guys to combine to be fine in that running back 2 spot and rely on Alvin Kamara basically every single week to be his running back 1. And if he can do that successfully, well, then he's got a stud tight end in Darren Waller. Pairs it with Irv Smith. That's just like an upside pick. I don't think Irv Smith is going to be fantastic this season. Latest reports are not fantastic, but Darren Waller is going to be good enough where you can just start him every week. And then he just loads out wide receiver, Keenan Allen, Godwin. I mean, I don't love Golladay, but not a bad value getting him there. Chark, Gallup, like these are high upside receivers. These are receivers that have high weekly ceilings. Grabs Lamar Jackson at quarterback. So he's loaded at quarterback, tight end, wide receiver, and he's got that anchor running back in Alvin Kamara. So I think this is a very, very sharp way to start off a draft if you are in the early rounds here, because even in like a redraft league, you're not drafting in this format. If you've got this stud, you don't even need to be as good at the running back 2 spot because you've got so many points to the running back 1, you can kind of pretend like they're giving points to the running back 2, and you have time. You have time to figure out running back 2. If you want to go with Metcalf, you want to go after Metcalf, could they have gone with Amari Cooper? Could you go with Julio after that? Just load out other positions, grab value there, and then figure out running back. So I think that's a great strategy. Glancing over, I think I like, is that FF relevant? And I think I'm like right here, but it's Tyreek Hill, then Austin Eckler, David Montgomery, and then you can see the rest. I think Justin Herbert's going to be a bust this season, so I don't love that pick, but getting Pitts, high upside pick there. Deontay Johnson I love. Michael Carter's a good pick. Pittman's a good pick. So just a lot of like really good picks. Grabbed a lot. I would say, okay, I guess it's fine. Grabbing Troutman and Cole Kmet, both tight ends that I love this season. I would say maybe if you're investing a 4th round pick in Pitts, you're assuming if you're going to win this league is that he's going off. And so probably only need to draft 1 tight end there, because if like Troutman and Cole Kmet are consistently providing you with like, you know, the tight end spot, then the Pitts pick probably didn't work out, and so you would have been better off going with like McLaurin or Woods or Evans, right? So that's one thing there, is if you invest a really high pick in tight end, you're assuming they work out, and so you don't necessarily need to draft 3 of them. It's a very similar thing with like quarterback. You know, if you take Mahomes, well, okay, there's no reason to take Russell Wilson and Joe Burrow And if you took another one, like Joe Burrow here, what's he doing for you? Are you really assuming that Mahomes and Wilson don't do great and that Burrow is providing a ton of value to you? And if that's the case, well, you're probably not going to win anyways because you busted at 3rd round. You busted at 6th round. Like, I don't know. That's just my thought on taking multiple positions. And again, in this actual draft we're going to do right now, we don't draft backup quarterbacks, right? If you're in a normal redraft league, 1 quarterback league, you do not draft backup quarterbacks. But actually, here, right? I always forget which tab it is. All right, we'll start one. Did they add this in? Excuse me, I have that. Oh, I'm not logged in. Whatever. I don't care. We're not doing one of those. So we're going to do SuperFlex. I don't even see. Oh, because we just tell it. Okay. We're going to do SuperFlex here. It was requested that we do another SuperFlex league. Most SuperFlex leagues are PPR. I don't remember if I was given an exact format. They asked for SuperFlex with 3 wide receivers, which is also a common format. But yeah, most every SuperFlex league is PPR, I believe. Interesting. Was this added in? Let me know in the comment section. Did they have auction? I think they did, right? Maybe I just didn't see it before. And what is this? Advanced. I almost want to test that out. Should I just log in? Hold on. I'm gonna log in. If I actually have no idea if I know my password, so maybe I won't be able to log in. Oh, is it just gonna know for me? Cool. What? And then it goes away? What? Fantasy Pros. What are we doing here? You have these things for me to log in, and then they're just gone. Okay, maybe it's a new feature that's. I mean, these are unlocked, but I was looking at they had that column of the pick logic, right? I don't know where that went. Maybe it's this. I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, we're going to do a 2 quarterback league. Again, if you don't play in 2 quarterback leagues, it doesn't matter. You're still getting the same analysis. We'll do the 6 bench spots, whatever. 3 wide receivers. We'll do 1. We don't want to do 3 wide receivers and 2 flex spots. That's a little bit ridiculous. But the super flex spot, I guess, is your 2nd flex spot. So technically, again, super flex isn't. Oh, wait. I almost said that wrong. I was going to say super flex is this one. So 2 quarterback leagues are different than Superflex. In Superflex, you absolutely want to be starting a quarterback, so you just treat it like a 2-flex league or 2 quarterback league. But you technically, if something went wrong, you could start another wide receiver there. You're just at a disadvantage because quarterbacks obviously score more points. I should really check, but I won't. So we did 1, 12. I want to say 8. And 3. I think those are the ones that we've done multiple times. So why don't we do 10? We'll do 10 on this one. I'll write it down and I'll make sure we know for the next one. I'm not going to change anything here because the computer is going to know. I mean, I guess I'll do high just to make sure the computer knows. But the computer knows we're in a league where you can start multiple quarterbacks. So I'm thinking they're going to do that correctly. If they don't, we'll go back, restart, and we'll put that to high. And I'm not going to change anything else. It's a 12-team league, so there's no positional advantages. You can start 3 wide receivers, so there's no advantage for running back. The league is going to draft completely normal besides quarterbacks going earlier. My general strategy is I want a quarterback I absolutely can rely on to be a weekly starter for me, just consistently, just not moving them from the lineup. Why aren't you working? Should I exit the page? Oh, when I said exit page and then it started working. Okay. Do we need to restart? We do not. Okay, Mahomes goes. Good. Okay, we don't need to restart. Actually, they're being very aggressive here. So I want to draft a quarterback that I can rely on as a weekly starter, but I'm not going to just, oh, wow, this stinks. We just missed out on, okay. But I'm not going to completely abandon other positions. So I'm not sitting here it's a super flex league. I absolutely have to draft a quarterback here. I'm comfortable drafting a quarterback here, but I still want to, be cognizant of the fact that there's other positions that I'm still going to need to start. So we do see Mahomes, Kyler, Allen, and Dak Prescott all go off the board in the first 7 picks. Then no one after that. We see McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry go, and then Adams goes at 8. So if we hide drafted players and look at who's left, our option at quarterback is definitely to go with Lamar Jackson. He's the last like tier 1 quarterback in my rankings as well. I should pull up my SuperFlex rankings. There they are. So if we just purely draft based off of my rankings, it says take Saquon Barkley. I have made videos talking about how he's a risky pick, but he's a risky pick 3rd overall, which is where he goes on average. Right now, if you just want to assume this is a redraft league, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are 6th overall right now. Well, at 6th overall, Barkley's a much better pick, and I would take him 6th overall. But your option is you take Kelsey, we're not going to do that, or Tyreek Hill, we're not going to do that. It would be between Barkley and Lamar Jackson. I think the value of grabbing Lamar Jackson here is not as great as securing Saquon Barkley, because as much as I talk about him being risky, we're now at 6th overall. Still a good pick. Would definitely like to get Lamar here. We're not going to. We're not going to get Kelsey either. But it would have been nice. Now, this is where you need to basically make your decision in a SuperFlex league. Top 6 quarterbacks are already off the board. So you need to decide, am I going to be reaching for like Wilson or Rodgers here in the 2nd round? Do I think that all these quarterbacks can go off the board? Because there are a million picks before we go. I am going to take the chance because I want to win value. So this is good strategy in a normal league, in a SuperFlex league, doesn't really matter. If you just miss out on a position, one, you don't want to start or end like a train. So if I take Wilson here, it's very possible that no quarterbacks really go here, and I've like ended the run at quarterback. You don't want to do that. But you also want to lose to people in value. I'm losing in value if someone like 3 picks ahead of me takes Lamar Jackson, or even 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 picks ahead of me takes Dak Prescott, or 9, 10, 11 picks ahead of me takes Allen, and 12 picks takes Kyler Murray. They beat me in value because they're able to pair a much better quarterback with a position player that's not a significant downgrade to my guy. So I'm losing these first 2 rounds if I take Wilson. I don't want to lose the first 2 rounds, right? So I want to gain something. If I can't have these quarterbacks, give me some other edge. Now, tight end would be a position to gain that edge, but I significantly lose out to Kelsey, right? This guy that just took Hopkins and Kelsey. If I take Waller here, I think I'm losing to that player. I don't want to lose, okay? So we throw Kelsey out the door. We throw quarterback out the door. Okay, Zeke. Do I have the best running backs if I take Saquon Barkley and Ezekiel Elliott? I mean, yeah, right? Like I absolutely have the best running backs in this league. I have an availability at that point to completely abandon running back for the next like 7 or 8 rounds, maybe even 10 rounds. I could just completely abandon the position. So that's an option. That is an edge I've just gained. I could take Tyreek Hill. Okay, if I take Tyreek Hill, I absolutely have the best combination of a running back 1 and a wide receiver 1. I think in my rankings, I hate this little pop up here. Okay, in my rankings, Zeke is right behind Tyreek Hill. So I have Tyreek Hill 10th overall in SuperFlex leagues, Ezekiel Elliott 12th overall. So technically it says to take Tyreek Hill. I'm interested though in the strategy if we took Zeke and if those guys work out and I can just grab a bunch. I'm very interested. I know mock drafts are like, you know, what could we do? What could end up working out? My gut, though, says, like, if this was my actual league, and I'm in a Superflex league, like, this is my league I'm drafting, and I'm paying $50 to enter this league, I mean, I'm taking Tyreek Hill, right? I'm just securing that because who knows? In my next pick, I could see a really nice running back value, and then if I took Zeke, I can't really take that running back because I'm losing out so much on wide receiver. So if this is my league, I'm taking Tyreek Hill, but let's see when we get to like this next pick, when we go back and like review this draft, what could have happened had we gone with Zeke? What could have we done with our team? Because we could have had AJ Brown. We could have had. I think I made the correct decision looking at what's left here. Yeah, we could have had some stud wide receivers. Cam Akers is still on the board, and I mean Akers is what, my 16th pick, and he's at 34 overall now. So I don't even. Oh my goodness, Kittle's still on the board too. Kittle would be interesting because, and I'll pull up the draft board here. Kittle would be interesting Wow, I almost got Waller. Okay. Quarterbacks are flying off the board in 2 quarterback leagues, so we're in danger right now. But I really, really think if this is my league, I'm still not going quarterback. I'm saying, you know what? You guys are all taking this position aggressively, and you're allowing me to pair Saquon Barkley with Cam Akers and Tyreek Hill. Like, I have crushed you at these other positions every single week. I don't think I could go away from that. I think I would have to. Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah. So if we're looking at what have I missed out on, right, by doing this, I've missed out on these quarterbacks, right? The teams with Dak and Stafford, with Josh Allen and Hurts, like Brady and Lamar, these teams are beating me at quarterback every week. I accept that. But you only have DeAndre Swift. You don't have a running back. You only have Gibson. And I have the ability now to pair Saquon Barkley, Cam Akers, and Najee Harris, and not even look at running back until probably there's a very real chance that I would only draft maybe one more running back after that, maybe two. Maybe we do 2 bench spots, but I am just hammering every other position. And I know that, I lose this league if Barkley stinks and if Akers stinks and if Najee Harris doesn't get the workload. But I will accept that because I think they're all going to be running back ones. And if you have 4 running back ones, not only is that very, very stable for your production, a lot of upside every week, but also in the trade market. I mean, people are going to be coming to me for trades for very high upside players, very high end players for these running backs. And also, they're not getting them. That's another thing. I don't want to bail these teams out by giving this guy who just started off with Adams, Metcalf, and Michael Thomas. I don't want to give him Najee Harris too. I want to take these guys. I want to because Najee Harris is the last, stud running back that's left. I want these guys to have to fight for Mike Davis and Kareem Hunt and Chase Edmonds. I want them fighting over those guys, not over Najee Harris. So I will not allow them to grab Najee Harris. I will be taking him. At this point, okay, we're in danger zone. We can lose this league, and another thing I want to talk about here is that run. We can lose this league if we miss out on some quarterbacks here. So Tannehill goes off the board, Burrow goes off the board. But then, all these teams already have multiple. So it's very unlikely that these teams, even if we weren't drafting against a computer, it's very unlikely these teams are grabbing their 3rd quarterback here because they're very weak at these other positions. They're going up against me. They have DeAndre Swift, Myles Gaskin, and Robert Woods. Gaskin could easily bust. Swift could be bad on an awful team. And now I'm crushing you at these other positions. Now, obviously, they're crushing me at quarterback, but I think we can find options. So, what are we going to do with these? We're at the small one, right? We're at the end of so we're going to have 4 picks go by and then us. We probably need to draft a quarterback with one of these picks. Now, you guys heard me talk about Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance should be ranked. He should be next. He should be right up here as this next quarterback. Where do we think we can get him? Because it is very vital to this team to get him. I think if he starts week 1, I think he'll be a top 10 quarterback this season. And if we're allowed to pair a top 10 quarterback with this start, we've won. I kind of want... Wow. It's weird because the quarterbacks that I want right now are not next up. I want Fitz and Trey Lance. That's who I want. So I think I can wait, but I think the risk here is that, let's say Matt Ryan, Cousins, Fitz, and Lance go off the board. Maybe they go off the board this next pick. I've basically lost the league because now my starting quarterbacks are Trevor Lawrence and Tua, and I don't think I can make up for it at that point. I think Fitz is going to be great. I think Trey Lance is going to be great. I think there's upside in taking Wilson because we're pretty sure he's going to be the starting quarterback. Let me just look. So we're obviously not doing running back. Wide receiver, is it worth it for me taking my favorite here would be Brandon Ayuk? No. Right? It's probably not worth adding him to the team Is it worth taking Kyle Pitts? No, probably not. It's probably not worth losing out on quarterback. Okay, so we'll take 2 quarterbacks here, and we'll just live with whatever we get. If we're trying to like just win the team in the draft, then technically, if we could get like Ayuk and Pitts at these next 2 picks, I was gonna say Pitts and picks back to back. If we get Ayuk and Pitts at these next 2, and we were able to next round get Fitz and Lance, I think you've won the league at that point. I don't think there's a justification for like not winning the league. I mean, you're just absolutely loaded everywhere. Do we do that? I guess is the question. We're pretty sure that you're going to take another quarterback. We think you might take 2 quarterbacks. That's 3 quarterbacks off the board. Oh man, do we do it? I guess would we be fine? Would we be fine if those guys come off the board? Let's do it. Okay, I've talked myself into it. We're taking Ayuk. We're hoping that Pitts is still there, and we're going to take him. He is still there. We're going to take Kyle Pitts. Then we are going to pray that our quarterbacks are still on the board. I think they're going to be. We see 3, 4 quarterbacks, 5 quarterbacks come off the board, but ours are still there. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, where was the team? Still doesn't have a quarterback, just like me. Loaded out on wide receivers, though. Adams, Metcalf, Michael Thomas, Deontay, got Kittle. Ooh, okay. Running backs are scarce, but that's great. So we see, only 4 quarterbacks went off the board. Matt Ryan, Trevor Lawrence, Kirk Cousins, and Baker. So 1 million quarterbacks are gone right now. But the ones that we wanted are still there. So I don't think they're going to take Trey Lance. I would absolutely take Trey Lance if I didn't think I could get him in this next round. I'm afraid Fitz will go off the board, and I want Fitz. Who did this people? Yeah, because this person doesn't even have a quarterback. Let's just make sure. Let's make sure the computer doesn't do that and make us sad. I don't even think they took a quarterback. All right, so yeah. Oh no, they took Taysom Hill comes off the board. That's interesting. Obviously, the computer thinks that's a reach because the computer's dumb. We will take Fitzpatrick. I know it feels weird taking Fitzpatrick in the 8th round. But again, SuperFlex League. We're starting 2 every week. So right now I'm starting Trey Lance and Fitzmagic. But man, do I like that Washington offense this season. I think they're going to be really good. So, I was going to pull up the team over here. We got Trey Lance and Fitz as our quarterbacks. Running back, Saquon Barkley, Cam Akers, Najee Harris, loaded. We've got Tyreek Hill and Brandon Ayuk at wide receiver, Kyle Pitts at tight end. If Trey Lance starts week 1, there's no way this team doesn't make the playoffs. We still need to try and load out some running backs. We're not going to draft a backup tight end. I think if you look historically, the odds that you're hitting on like these tight ends is basically the same as hitting at these tight ends. So if you draft someone in the first, in a normal league, not in best ball because you can't do waivers in best ball. If you draft someone in the first 8 rounds, there's no point in taking a backup because the hit rate's exactly the same and being like, I'll take Henry in the last round. It's like, well, you know what, just take no one because Clement's probably gonna be on free agency. Everett will be on free agency. Ebron, Ertz if he goes to a new team, Troutman, all these guys are on free agency. They basically have the same hit rate. Just drafting a running back or a high upside wide receiver with that pick, there's no point in taking another one. So we're not going to take another one there. We probably want to grab one more quarterback, but one more quarterback, one more running back, and then one. All right, so quarterback, running back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide receivers. But I was going to do that because I was weak, but now I don't feel like I'm weak at all there. So, no, we still want to be there. But we do still want to grab one more quarterback. So, do we just kind of lock that up with this pick? Maybe. We'll see what the other positions have. Yeah, I don't see anyone standing out at wide receiver. I guess Pittman I like. Antonio Brown would be nice. Mike Williams, Mooney. I'm sure Gage would be nice. Elijah Moore, Myers, all those guys would be really good. So yeah, I don't really care about that. Not really, yeah, let's just take our favorite quarterback. So I'm gonna sort by the quarterback rankings. Who would be our next quarterback up on the board? Yeah, Lawrence is gone. Cousins is gone. It would be Fields, and that actually would be smart to do. So the only risk here, I'm gonna take Fields. The only risk there is that, but let's say that Lance doesn't start, Fields doesn't start, so I have to start obviously Fitz as my quarterback one because I know he's gonna be starting. I have two options. I can either start some of these bench options at the SuperFlex spot because I'm allowed to start a player there, or whoever I pick in the last round, I can just drop them, try and pick up whoever the starting quarterback is. I mean, maybe if Garoppolo doesn't, if he's the starting quarterback, he doesn't get drafted in this league, then I could pick up Garoppolo, start him for however many weeks that Lance or Fields is not the starting quarterback, and then end up dropping him. So you have options. It's not the end of the world if they don't start. They've come out and said that Fields will not start week one. That's their plan right now. I wouldn't buy too much into that. They're saying Dalton's their guy, but I mean, Dalton was bad on Dallas last season, right? Like Dallas, okay? They had so many elite skill players. Like obviously the skill positions are much, much worse for Chicago. And so if Dalton couldn't do good in Dallas, how is he going to do good in Chicago? So I think throughout camp, maybe they change that opinion a little bit because Fields is definitely the better quarterback. But again, even if he doesn't start, we have plenty of outs. I don't think I would draft another quarterback here though, so I think we would just stick with those guys. Let's just grab our favorite wide receivers. I believe, yeah, Pittman's my favorite here. I'm not saying he's a lock to go off, but I think Pittman is clearly the most talented wide receiver on this Colts offense, and he's a clear number one, right? Like we know at this point that T.Y. Hilton is dust. We know Campbell could take some snaps away, not some snaps. I think he's taking some targets away, but he's not a true number one. Like Pittman's a clear true number one, so I think he's a quality pick there. There have been fantastic reports out of camp about Elijah Moore. I would try and get Elijah Moore on as many teams as possible. Yes, they re-signed Crowder. That is absolutely a downgrade to Elijah Moore, but I think he's better. Talking about Elijah Moore there. And I also think that there's still a possibility, even with a restructuring of Crowder's contract, that there's definitely a chance that Crowder just gets traded, to a different team, or that they still don't use him. Like they don't have to use him just because they restructured him to pay him less money, right? So I think Elijah Moore is their best receiver. I think he's absolutely going to see the field, and I'm not really worried. Like I'm not worried about Mims. I'm not worried about Corey Davis. I think Elijah Moore is their best talent. Obviously, he could bust. He's still a rookie on the Jets, right? But I think it's a good upside pick there. You guys know the rest of my upside picks. It's Gabriel Davis. Rondale Moore could be good. Traquan Smith could be good. I love Jacoby Myers. I'm trying to take him in basically every league, so we'll take Jacoby Myers here. Yeah, I mean, I think this team is very quality. If you really wanted to at this point, just grab whatever defense you wanted, because I don't see a need on this team to grab anything. You could do that. Maybe we go with, why don't we just secure, let's see, are there any, there's usually no one in this range that you want at running back. No, there's no one good. So we'll take Bernard again. I think he could be just like their version of James White. We'll grab two more of our favorite wide receivers, and then we will grab our defense and call it a day. I don't think they're going to give us a good grade in this draft because I feel like this thing has popped up like a million times. It's like you're reaching on players, but it is what it is. Their rankings are great. Oh, P-Rhyme, just like the last one. You guys know the picks that I like making late. Biggest upside's probably Traquan Smith with that pick. Take Traquan. We're loaded at wide receiver. We got so many good wide receivers. And then we will take, I like Washington. Washington is a very, very good defense. They're going to be better on offense too. That's going to help the defense. So if you think back, yeah, they hate this draft, but it's probably going to dominate this league. If you think about the Washington defense last season, right? Their offense was not great. Like, it was fine. And so they won a good amount of games. But if you think the offense will be better this season and they'll win more games, teams are going to have to throw at a higher rate against them. Okay? And if teams are throwing at a higher rate, that gives their front seven more opportunities for sacks. More sacks lead to more fumble opportunities, more touchdown opportunities because you're getting these sacks. There are more interception opportunities, again, increasing defensive touchdown chances. And so you want an elite defense with a really good offense. It's a beautiful pairing because when they get up, teams are going to have to throw on them. Last season, that didn't happen as much because they won more games with their defense instead of pairing it with their offense. So I love Washington this season. And again, I don't want to go over it too many times, but this is a fantastic draft. And I think it did work out. So when we looked at the beginning here, we said, can I just get an edge somewhere? All these quarterbacks going off the board. It's a SuperFlex league. A lot of people panic. A lot of people take Wilson with this next pick. They take Stafford. Was Stafford available? He wasn't available. They take Brady with this pick. They're like, okay, I got my quarterbacks. But we waited a good chunk of rounds, and we still got 3 guys that I think are going to be quality for us, and we've gained an edge somehow. Every single draft, you have to gain some sort of edge, and it's going to be there. People who are like, oh, well, I can't use this strategy because my team always takes quarterback early. Or, oh, I can't gain an edge at like this position because, tight ends fly off the board or running backs fly off the board. If you're in a league that has something with it where, like, say running backs are flying off the board and, like, this pick was the first with wide receiver. Okay, gain your edge at wide receiver. Can you pair Devonta Adams with Tyreek Hill? Okay, there's your edge. Because teams can be looking at you like, let's say Rodgers returns in that circumstance. Teams are looking at you like, oh my goodness, I'm going up against Adams and Tyreek Hill. I mean, they could score 70 in a given week, and that's not an exaggeration. They could score 70 fantasy points. Who cares who you have at running back at that point? They don't need to do all that much. Gain edges wherever you can, and don't complain that you can't gain an edge at running back because your league drafts them super early, or quarterback because they draft them early. We gained an edge at running back because other positions were flying off the board, and we're like, well, I'd love to pair Saquon Barkley with Cam Akers and Najee Harris and grab 3 running back ones to pair with decent wide receivers, a breakout tight end, and enough quarterbacks. So that is how I handle all drafts. This is how I'd handle a SuperFlex. Obviously, you guys saw in the draft we did with subscribers before this, some of these late options are going to go earlier as a function of we're drafting with subscribers. You guys know I love Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore is going to go earlier on average in the drafts that you see from us than he is in general, right? Pittman's going to go earlier. Myers is going to go earlier. So if you're drafting with people who aren't subscribed to this channel, those guys will fall a little bit. You'll probably end up getting them in this range. But in general, those are my tips. In a SuperFlex league, you don't have to grab the quarterback early. Just make sure. I still, with this pick, made sure I was going to get someone. You can't leave the draft. Imagine if they didn't take Taysom Hill and Wilson. You can't leave the draft with Teddy Bridgewater and Jordan Love. Okay, unless we knew Rodgers was gone, then you could do that if you got really nice value. But just make sure you're getting someone. Okay, you don't need the upper end options. I said to start this video that I prefer to get them, but the value wasn't there. If the value's not there, I'm not going to force myself to draft that position. So this is probably the longest video that we've had on the channel this season. And if you watched this far, you'd at least somewhat liked it, right? So please leave a like on the video if you watched this far. I don't think I did the stat of the day, so I will pin that in the comment section down below for you guys to answer. But that, my friends, is the end of this one. Hope you all did enjoy. If you did, then how about hitting that like button? And how about subscribing to the channel if you're new here? Thanks for watching.